Yo, good afternoon, everyone. Hey, crazy times, right? Yeah, it's actually afternoon time. It's still Sunday, and I promise you guys we're gonna bring something. TSA Hoops Show. Thank you for tuning in. Uh, we're just gonna break it down real quick, to be honest. An afternoon hoop show, yes. Thank you, Rick. Yeah, we're doing a quick one today. Promise you guys we would be on. We would be sort of recapping the game that's going on right now. It's in the fourth, OKC versus Denver. Right now, OKC at 25 points, and it's a game of turnovers right now. There's a lot going on that we got to discuss. We got to discuss the Eastern Conference Finals that just got set up a couple days ago. New York versus Indy. We're going to get to that. We're going to go over some of these tickets that we posted, some of these lays. We're going to try and do it all in a good 30 minutes because it's been a long weekend for myself. Don't know if you guys know, I was just out there. If you have been following me on X, been out in the city, aka San Francisco. Great place to be for the first game, for the first WNBA game for the city, which is amazing. We'll talk a little bit about that. Yeah, we're gonna get to it all, but hey, if you guys are tuning into this show, let's go ahead and just break it down real quick. Quick update. Game 7 of the Western Conference semifinals matchup. Winner goes on to play Minnesota. Got Denver versus at OKC. Right now, OKC again is up 25. Pretty good chance, unless there's a super epic comeback, that we're going to see Minnesota versus OKC in this Western Conference Finals. Which is going to be interesting because Minnesota is a healthier team than Denver is, of course. And I mentioned that because Aaron Gordon was listed as doubtful to play today with a grade 2 hamstring strain. And we discussed it at length within my chat. I don't know if you guys, it was a lot in the feed. Huge prediction that he wasn't going to play. We put the post out earlier that was going to affect the play of other players like Julian Strawther, who we've seen very few minutes of this game. We're probably going to see more minutes from him now, considering that it's the fourth quarter. How that would affect the play of the rest of the team. Jamal Murray. We had some overs on him. We'll just go ahead and bring up the ticket, in fact, right now, because I think it's important that we put this in context to how we had as an outlook for this game. So if you guys are paying attention to this right now, I mean, throughout there already, the free square there, shout out to Prize Picks. But just as a line, as a stat of like what was going to happen during this game, we knew that period, whether Aaron Gordon was ready to go or not, that it was do or die time. You're on the road. You're a pretty decent road team in the Denver Nuggets. Well, not pretty decent. They were somewhat decent during the season, but decent enough to where they could win these games on the road. Nikola Jokic there at that half a point. He's up there. Just going to go ahead and pull up that stat for you guys right now. In a second, while I'm doing that, Jamal Murray. That's a line that we had bet early on. Some people got him at 21. I got him at 22. Has just been a no-show so far. Jokic right now at 28 and 7, 20 points right now. So if you guys got that one, you got the square. Of course, talked about Julian Strawther and his ability, his showing up and his impact, especially from his 3-point shooting from game 6. We hope that a little bit of that will carry over, but of course, that just goes to show the difference in, and this is something that's been talked about consistently over this series, the difference in the depth of OKC versus Denver. That front five getting utilized a lot. Russell Westbrook getting a lot of minutes, which was, to go off on a tangent, a pain point from before Coach Adelman to now. Just the overutilization of a veteran like Westbrook, and set up for big threes from guys like, oh man, this is bad. This is just going from bad to worse. But just the reason why a guy like Julian Strawther and showing up, this team effectively is going to need to grow in some way, shape, or form. I think they're going to need a guy like Russell Westbrook to stay around. But I think that as the team started to lose its pieces, the availability of Michael Porter Jr. and his effect on the game, or lack thereof, just the inconsistency of some of these players, I think that they're just going to need another year. Hopefully they stay consistent in their coaching scheme and whatever their focus is with Edelman. So that way it could be more than just Joker putting on a show. But for all reasons notwithstanding, and coming back to the original point, Julian Strawther probably not going to hit that line at the 6.5 right now, but it is what it is. Jalen Williams did a little fun one. I always like to put these fun things in there, is whether a player can get a random block or not. I love throwing that up there just simply because you either hit it or you don't. Going further down the ticket, I said, and I've mentioned this before, and when we go through all 6 of these points, or 6 of these lines, I want to make an even bigger point, because again, the winner gets Minnesota, right? Who's a younger, healthier, bigger, more complete team. Their experience together, regardless of their seeding, is a huge carryover from the previous 2 seasons, which is big saying that, because they've been able to win games without Anthony Edwards showing up in the first 2 quarters, which is completely different from a Denver Nuggets team which needs Jamal Murray to show up from the first quarter. It's night and day. And so for a team like OKC to think that they're going to the next round, and for you guys to think like, oh, it's an automatic bet, just think of the OKC team a lot like the Los Angeles Lakers, that it's not just about the ability to shoot and score. It's the ability to be a complete team, to be able to do all the things at a high level consistently. And one of those things that has been lacking specifically is from Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein, 2 big guys, okay? 2 guys that were supposed to be put on this team to be able to not just play the 1-2 as far as depth is concerned, but to be able to control that interior presence defensively and rebound. Now, I put the over on Chet Holmgren on the 9.5 boards because I just said Chet's going to need a big game, at least on the boards today. That's the main way that you can affect the turnaround of this game, the ability to score, scoring volume, et cetera, et cetera. OKC is a high scoring volume team. They love to score on the run, rebound, get out, kick it, get down, score, boom. And they do that to you multiple times, whether it's from the 3-point line or not. But it all starts with being able to control possessions. And Chet Holmgren's rebounds, Hartenstein's rebounds, are the things that are going to, not just from a betting side, but just if you can see the consistency in how they do against teams that are going to be like Denver, who have that primary big man in Jokic, big rebounds, big rebounding guards, guys like Aaron Gordon crashing the boards heavy. And I mean, Man, it's just sorry, I get a little bit of a headache when I see bad basketball happen. So this has been a big turnover game. Shout out to Iggy for being a huge pinpoint in that. But that's all that in a nutshell. And then of course SGA said PR in the first 5 minutes. SGA has had 0 points in the first 5 minutes for 5 games, y'all. 5 games straight. Games of like 19, 20 points. Not really showing up on the offensive side, but has been doing it defensively. So I figured put the under on the PRA on that. That stat there, PRA in the first 5 minutes, I think could be a huge point of how we can look at how OKC, if they do complete this game and advance, how they're going to be successful versus a team in Minnesota who can get out on the break and jump on you if you lack quality possessions. I think SGA getting going early on is going to be a key factor in the next series if OKC advances. We still have to hit the triple zeros. It's 100-72 right now. OKC up 28 points right now in the fourth. So that's that ticket. And you guys can let us know in the comments below what you think is going to happen, who you think is going to be the more successful team going forward. I mean, if Denver somehow pulls us out, right, this continues. The question then becomes, like, I see Christian Braun right here who gets caught in the air on SGA and somehow, some way forgets that he's supposed to stay vertical. You know, things like that happen. But if this continues, what is it that Denver has been riding on that's been allowing Denver to get this far? It's been primarily the execution of the role players. Minnesota has that in spades. Okay. And we've seen it series after series after series. It happened heavy in the Golden State series. It happened heavy in the Lakers series, where it's not just Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is, again, just a causality right now. Until he becomes the thing and you can't stop him, he is one of 10, essentially, for Minnesota, which is absolutely mind-bending to think about if you're trying to stop this team. It's very possible that Minnesota could end up in the finals, no matter who they go up against. They're that deep. They're that good. And I mentioned this before the playoffs even started. They're putting out numbers at a championship level. They were putting out the numbers that Boston, Cleveland, and OKC were putting up on both sides of the ball. The fact that it was that on paper, and I absentmindedly still did not pick them to go this far in the playoffs is bad on me. And I'm sad that I went with my heart and not my head. So that's that. We're just going to let this play out, wait for this to get to triple zeros. But yeah, make sure you guys put in the comments of whatever you guys put out there, what you guys were picking, your thoughts on this series. I think it was a great series no matter how this plays out. I'm glad that OKC got a challenge, because essentially what you saw, what happened with Cleveland, was that they believed in what they were doing all season, and it wasn't consistent enough. They didn't see that what they were missing wasn't consistent enough. And Cleveland ended up getting caught with their pants down the first 2 games. Granted, game 2, we're just transitioning over to the ECF now and how we got here. They ultimately did not pay attention to who they were playing. There's a lot to unpack with that series. Game 1, they weren't paying attention. They got caught with their pants down because they were playing at the same speed as as they did against Miami, and Miami was not a quality team. It was great that they did what they did, but they weren't not a quality team. They lacked the collective ability to get depth in their scoring. So they had these scoring droughts. They lost the game 2, 91-90. It wasn't that ugly of a game. Yes, they were missing 2 key pieces, but it was a 40-point Donovan Mitchell game. So how do you have a 40-point Donovan Mitchell game in your team that averages 120-something points during the season? Granted, everything's getting tighter. There are less free throws, less foul calls. The flow of the game is getting a lot tighter. But how do you go from 100 and something points to 90 in the span of a game with back-to-back games of 40-point Donovan Mitchell games. It's because they lacked the depth and the ability to get guys like Jared Allen on the offensive side of things. Jared Allen, great defender, great rebounder, but when you start missing points on the interior, when you can't get a guy like Okoro in the game to kind of help in that depth and get some spread the ball around, be a little bit bigger on the defensive side, when guys are just literally tearing you up inside the paint, and then you let guys like Tyrese Halliburton be quiet all game and then walk you down to, I don't know what the main street there in Ohio in Ohio is, in Cleveland, Ohio, but walk you down and then just nice little step back 3-pointer. That happened 4 games in a row. So that's why Cleveland is out. Indiana essentially caught one team in Milwaukee that thought that they were tougher than what they were. Where Milwaukee thought they were, where Milwaukee was actually at, and Indiana ended up beating them. Where Cleveland thought they were at, and what they were actually prepared for. It was good. Is a shout out to Coach Atkinson for getting Coach of the Year. You know what, bravo, hands down. He inherited that team. He adopted that team, and Cleveland went on an unprecedented run at the beginning of the season to be able to get their win total to where it was at. They looked like it was supposed to be consistent, but it wasn't. And that 3-point shooting and the lack thereof and the ability to figure out other ways to score killed them. And that was the difference in between their ability to stop the bleeding. I mean, Indiana was just coming down. Oh, man. From TJ to McDaniels. I mean, just everybody was just hitting 3-point shot after 3-point shot. It was empty basket on Cleveland side, and it would break out 3-point shot, break out tight hook shot on the interior. It's just amazing that teams were not this prepared, and Indiana's just taking full advantage of it. But hey, you got to beat who's in front of you, and the goal at the end of the day is going to be one winner, one loser. And Indiana made themselves a winner of that series. The other side, Boston. Man, I don't think I've ever been more shocked and not surprised at the same time, because a championship caliber team, a championship minded team, is supposed to have multiple plans of if plan A doesn't work. And what Boston has shown all of us is that plan A stopped working a long time ago. In fact, the Orlando series, that one win, there were a couple of those games where they were actually closer than it should have been wins. And that's because the programming was always, if our 3-point shooting is on, then we are fine. It wasn't, oh, if our 3-point shooting is not on, then we have a different defensive scheme to create turnovers, to create fast break points, to score in the paint. The Celtics would get out on breaks against New York, get down into the paint, pass it back out, shoot a 3, miss, rebound the ball. Granted, they were getting rebounds. Horford was in there getting all kinds of rebounds, man. It was crazy. Pritchard was in there, his little sneaky self, getting down there in the dunker spot, getting crazy rebounds. And then they would pass it back out, and then the shots just stopped falling. That was the start of it against New York. You know what the end of it was? Karl Anthony Towns walking everyone down Fifth Avenue and saying, "Eat lunch, okay? I'm New York, New York." They got the big Kit Kat sandwich. I don't know what it is out there in them bodegas, man, but they have a whole sandwich named after him now. And Boston would just kept eating it and eating it. And then on top of that, to pour gasoline on the fire that was happening in Boston was the Achilles injury, of course, season-ending injury for JT. And you knew that Jaylen Brown was going to need to step up and essentially effectively be able to score. But What was absolutely insane was how Brown went from, "Oh, I'm gonna be the reason that we're gonna survive this series," to non-existent in Game 6. I mean, that Game 6 was awful. I watched that in the city. I sounded like the random drunk at the bar that was just shouting, and it was weird for me feeling bad for Boston. I said, "When do the Valkyries play?" Because I knew that they were playing my Sparks. Shout out to Rickea Jackson and Kelsey Plum for going off. Gotta love Plum for that. For the Sparks win. But I said I cannot watch this. I said this is not basketball. This is murder. And I don't like. I'm not a fan of trauma. And that's what I was watching. And I watched Derek White shoot from no man's land like 3 times in a row, 5 feet beyond the arc. It was like Boston was getting quality looks. They were getting wide open looks, but they were further out. They were stress shots. Pritchard wasn't hitting. I mean, it was just nonsense. And then they keep replaying on social media the hustle play of Mitchell Robinson, how he so it keeps the story of that sequence keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I feel like media just keeps putting more on and more on that moment, where it said where originally it was just Jaylen Brown turned the ball over, and then it quickly went to, in that same sequence, Mitchell Robinson had a great recovery on that. Okay, Mitchell Robinson, pretty decent defender. Glad he's hustling. Glad he's healthy now. I'm glad he's coming back. I'm glad he's positively affecting the Knicks. But what particularly happened with the offense from Boston, I have to say this. Jaylen Brown got full of himself. So they finally, on the break, get a pass open to Jaylen Brown. And Jaylen Brown does the thing that every player does when they feel like they have a wide open shot. Oh, let me bounce the ball and get in my head. And that gave Mitchell Robinson extra time to close out. Mitchell Robinson didn't give up on the play, and that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to give up on the play. This is playoff basketball. Stay ready, be ready, show ready. I think getting the steal and smothering Jaylen Brown in that moment was absolutely phenomenal. But I think Jaylen Brown got in his own head and thought that he had a wide open basket and ended up not taking the shot, and that created the turnover. New York out hustled Boston. Every time that Boston decided to try a 3-pointer, it was not a quality look because New York was all in their shirts, all in their jerseys. They couldn't get anything inside, even when they were going up, which they didn't. You saw some of the comeback happen in that Game 6 game when Pritchard started driving in and they started going for layups and stuff like that. But what was most amazing on New York's end was the pure will. You could say nothing about Jalen Brunson this game because it was all cat collective shooting from everybody and being able to play smothering defense. And I think this Indiana New York series, although it's not the most ticket worthy, it's going to be a dogfight. And I think that that's what this whole playoffs has been about: survivability, availability, and just the ability to have depth on your team. And New York can play 8-9 deep at least. I mean, having Karl Anthony Towns be at that big beast that he is amazing for New York. We talked about how they were, and we wrote a little bit about how they could possibly be a threat to Boston and what it would take if New York had the ability to get cohesion by the time the playoffs got here. Here's a pudding. Proof's in it. So now then it's just going to become a question of which team is going to be more able to sustain each other's punches. This is going to be a heavyweight fight. I personally feel that it might be a better matchup than Minnesota OKC. But as you can see from my playoff picks, from where we're at to where we're at now, that I don't mind being wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times. I probably got a really big losing record. We'll probably get to what that is during the summer of all my bad takes, and I'm gonna love eating crow on a lot of them. But I think the best thing about these playoffs so far has been that, first of all, we got basketball back. We got the basketball of up until 2000 and 2005, 2006. I think that's about when basketball started to change to be more open for offense. OKC scoring 124 right here, so they're up 42 points. OKC is up 42 points. You know, if OKC and Denver collectively score 7 more points, then I will have hit the over without Denver going over 100 points. This is absolutely crazy. I put the over, by the way, over 210 for this game. I also did Denver +8. Boy, I did not think that it was going to be this bad. So yeah, that's the. Yeah, okay, I was going to ask if Jokic was still in the game. No, he's not. Okay, so this game is just about over. Now it's about trying to coach players and see what they can do as far as being available for next season. AG is now out of the game. That's good. So he'll be able to rest that hamstring for good now. Now it's just about OKC and them being able to get out of this game healthy and ready for the next round. We're making this one a short one, y'all. We wanted to get it short and sweet to the point. We will be ready for, let's see, game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, I believe, starts tomorrow. Let's get that. Let's get you guys up to date on that so that we know what we're going to be talking about next. 2025 playoff schedule, playoffs. Hello. I need the playoff schedule. Okay, fine. Let's just do this. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Game 1, the first game of the conference finals actually starts Tuesday, and it's the winner of this game. So Timberwolves versus OKC Tuesday at 5:30. And then, wow, Pacers and Knicks. So the Pacers just ended. The Knicks and Pacers were finalized on Saturday at about 5:00. So they will, and their game is going to be, their first game is on Wednesday in New York, 3 seed versus the 4 seed at 5 Pacific Standard Time. So they will have had officially Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 1, 2, 3, almost 4 full days before tipping off. The league ain't leaguing, y'all. But whatever. A lot of y'all are out there hoping for the Villanova finals, which would make it New York versus Minnesota. Again, anything's possible at this point. A minute 37 left in the game, and OKC is up 40 points. So hopefully you guys get a couple series that you can enjoy. We're going to tap in. We're going to tune in heavy on that. Before we get out of here, got 30 seconds, 60 seconds to go. First things first, great trip. You guys got to go to San Francisco. If you can, I got a lot of recommendations for where you guys can go, places where you can watch games like that. You know, Valkyrie's a new team in town. Everyone's got, it's 100% support in that town. There was merch everywhere. It's absolutely amazing. They're selling it in the Nike store where I got this hat. Just a reminder that everyone watches women's sports. And don't forget that we do too here at TSA Hoops and TSA. We're going to be pushing a lot behind that. The season's already started, and we're already talking about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. I almost got myself a pair of A1s. If you guys don't know what those are, you need to tap in and tune in and figure out who Asia Wilson is, the queen. and we're going to be pushing out some more bets, lines, and all that good stuff, synopses, our picks for finals for who we think is going to move on coming this week. But appreciate you guys tuning in. It's been a great afternoon. I'm going to go get some rest, recover from this vacation. Yeah, you need a vacation from your vacation sometimes. Love, peace, and chicken grease, and we are out of here, y'all.